welcome back to the Dance Dojo. Quick tip for you today on arms and elbows so you can have a better connection with your partner. Let's go. Okay, we're back and we've got a quick salsa tip for you today. We're going to talk about arms, your weight, how to make them feel good. So the idea is this is a tip for better connection with your partner. So the first thing, we'll cover the basics really quickly. Obviously, between your partner, you have a common center, and you don't want your arms to go behind you, leads, and you don't follow, so you don't want your arms to go behind you. So your arms are always kind of in front of your hips or in front of your body, okay? So none of that, none of that. Because if I do this, she's gonna be very uncomfortable, and if I wanna move that way, and her arms go behind her, I'm gonna run into her. Okay, so that's why. So now if we walk and we maintain our elbows in front of us, we have this kind of nice shape or frame that now we have a structure to work with. So the next thing is usually the leads, if we're in this open position, are gonna have their hands underneath, and the follow's hand is just on top. And so now if I move forward, she can feel a little bit of tension in her palm because her wrist is slightly down. So she can feel, if I push forward with my fingers, she can feel that in her palm. And if I pull back, she's gonna make a little hook in her finger. And that's how we have this forward and back connection. So if my body is moving, she feels my fingers moving that way. And if my body's moving that way, she can feel the energy of my fingers in her palm. The next thing is like, how much weight do you give your partner how much weight do you give your partner's hands? Or for example, you're a follow, and if I want to give you a turn, especially the beginner follows, sometimes it feels like they're hanging, like I'm a bar, and they're just hanging off my arm, and it can eventually hurt your shoulder, and it's terrible, it's not fun. So she's pulling down a lot right now. You can see my fingers bending because Emmy is very strong. So you don't want to be on her bad side. So how much weight or how much tension should she give me in her arms? So an easy way to think about this, first of all, because sometimes, for example, when we're just dancing in a basic, you don't need any tension in your arms. When we do an open break, for example, obviously there's a bit of tension that happens because we need this elastic to happen. So a lot of people have the question, how much tension do I want to have when I do something? And we can do a simple exercise. So if she leans forward to me, or if we both lean forward, we have this common center. Now if we lean back, and then forward again, and then back, and forward again, obviously there's tension there, and then tension there. But in the middle, there's nothing. So tension, tension, tension. And we don't have to think, how much tension do I put so I don't hit her in the face? We just react. She's giving me as much tension as I'm giving her. And that's all you have to do. You just react and you give it back equally. So that's when we're kind of dancing and doing elastic things and coming back together. So sometimes there's no tension, like right now. And then sometimes, for example, I do an open break. We got a little bit of tension there, okay? Just enough to get the job done. For example, if I want Emily to do a crossbody lead, I don't need to do this and pull her. It doesn't feel good, right? Okay? So now, how much tension or weight does she give me in her arms? The easiest way to think about this is we want to maintain a connection in our hands so that I can send signals and information to her. So she, as you can see, her hands are there by themselves. They don't completely fall. They should be relaxed. Now she's pushing down. So if I let go, she should be relaxed enough that her arms fall. But because my hands are here, she's giving me a little bit of weight so I can feel her hand. I can feel a connection, but she's not pushing. I don't need to pull out the biceps to just dance with Emily. Okay, so I think the easiest way to describe this with like some props is I don't want Emmy's hand so light that sometimes I try and do a turn, for example, with the follow, and it feels like I can never get her hand. It's always just like hovering on top of mine, and I can never connect with it because they're just kind of taking their hands away. You don't want that. So that feels like you've got like a little dollar bill in your hand, and you're trying to hold on to it, but it just gets away from you. It's hard to control, right? But what you want to feel is kind of like a cell phone. You want like a little bit of weight, but it's not too heavy, but it's easier to control, right? Because there's a little bit of weight to it. So that's what you want to feel. And so when I lift Emmy's arm to give her a turn, she feels that I'm lifting her arm, and so she's then going to help me lift her arm. Okay? I don't have to crank it up because her arm, she's pulling down on me. Okay? All we want to do is maintain that connection in our hands so that we can exchange information. She's going to hold her frame and the weight of her arms. And this allows us to move our hands really fast, so I can do fancy things with my hands and then tell her to do turns. And if she's not holding her posture and the weight of her arms, and I have to do everything, one, it's going to be super slow, and it's really hard, okay? So that's that. The other thing I wanted to say is, let's give this angle, is the elbows are always pointing down to the ground. They're relaxed. It's very important. My elbows are down towards the ground, and so are my partner's. Because if I go to give a turn and her arm's up, then one, there's no space, there's no window. So if her elbow is down, now there's a window for her head. So if you have elbows up, one, it puts all the tension in your shoulders, and now your arms can't move very fast because you're very uncomfortable, and there's no space to do turns, okay? So elbows always down and relaxed, and this goes for the leads too. So if I'm gonna do a turn, so we're dancing, and then I'm gonna ask for the hand and give her a turn, I don't wanna ask for that hand like this with my elbow up. I wanna ask for it with my shoulder relaxed, elbow down, just like that. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And I did the whole turn with my elbow down. I didn't do this, elbow up, because then you start getting tension in your shoulders and you're not gonna have good habits to move your arms faster later. So for example, if we wanna do something like this, it won't be possible. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And doing all these quick arm loops with your partner won't be possible if you don't have that kind of loose, light arm connection with elbows relaxed. So there's your tip today. Relax the arms, elbows down, and only give enough weight so that you can kind of maintain a connection with your hand. Besides that, follows, you're responsible for the weight of your arms, and likewise for leads. So you don't have a wrestling match and bring out the guns. Keep the guns at home. And there you have it. That was a quick tip on arm weight, arm connection, elbows. If you want more information on how to become a better social dancer, you want videos and breakdowns you can reference anytime as a lead or a follow for salsa and bachata, check out our online programs at thedancedojo.com. You'll really be blown away. If you have any ideas for my next videos, I would love to hear them, so please comment below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.